Ever wondered how soon your employer should settle your accounts after you resign in the UAE? Today we'll dive into that very question. In the bustling economic landscape of the UAE, understanding employee rights, especially regarding final settlements, is paramount. When an employee resigns, the final settlement is a crucial process that involves the calculation and payment of all dues owed by the employer. This includes end-of-service benefits, unpaid wages, and other entitlements. The knowledge of these rights not only empowers employees but also ensures that transitions between jobs are smooth and fair. It's vital for both parties to handle this process with clarity and according to the legal framework set by UAE law. Our discussion today is based on insights from reliable sources, including updates and regulations specific to the UAE labor market. This ensures that the information we discuss is not only current but also directly applicable to anyone working in the Emirates. Stay tuned as we unravel the specifics of the process and timelines for final payments. First up, let's understand the legal backdrop governing final settlements in the UAE. In the UAE, the labor law meticulously outlines the provisions related to the payment of end-of-service benefits, ensuring that employees receive what they're due upon the conclusion of their employment. This law plays a pivotal role in safeguarding employee rights and dictates the procedures employers must follow when an employee resigns or is terminated. Now, the general timeline for final settlements after resignation is influenced heavily by the type of contract, whether it is unlimited or limited, and the circumstances surrounding the termination. Typically, under the UAE labor law, employers are required to settle all dues, including end-of-service benefits, within a period that should not exceed 30 days from the date of termination or resignation. This time frame is crucial to ensure a smooth transition for both the employer and the employee. With this legal framework in place, let's examine what actually happens when you resign. Resigned? Here's when you can expect to see your final payment. Navigating the timeline for receiving your final payment in the UAE can vary depending on several factors, including the nature of your resignation and the type of contract you were under. Let's delve into these specifics to give you a clearer picture. Firstly, if you've been terminated by your employer, the law stipulates that your final payment should be processed promptly. Typically, this means that your dues should be settled on your last working day or soon after. This is designed to ensure that employees are not left in a financial lurch after losing their employment. On the other hand, if you have resigned, the timeline can differ slightly. Generally, employers are required to settle all your dues within 14 days from the date of your resignation. This period allows employers to carry out final calculations of dues, ensuring everything from unpaid wages to accrued benefits are correctly disbursed. Now let's talk about the difference between limited and unlimited contracts. With a limited contract, the process remains straightforward as described. However, for those on unlimited contracts, it's essential to note that any delays beyond the stipulated 14 days must be justified and communicated. Employers failing to adhere to these timelines without valid reasons may face legal repercussions. Understanding these timelines can help you plan your next steps post-resignation effectively. Knowing what's included in your final settlement is as crucial as knowing when you'll receive it. When you leave a job, your final settlement isn't just about receiving your last paycheck. It encompasses several components that are designed to ensure you are fully compensated for your contributions to the company. Firstly, there's your unpaid salary. This includes the wages for the days you worked during your final month. Then, there's the end-of-service gratuity, a reward for your years of service, calculated based on the duration you've been with the company. Another significant element is the compensation for unused leave. If you haven't taken all your entitled annual leave, you'll be compensated for these days. Additionally, depending on your contract and company policy, you may also be entitled to bonuses or commissions that were earned during your tenure. It's important to review your employment contract and final pay stub to ensure all these elements are correctly included. Armed with the knowledge of what to expect, you can ensure that your final settlement is complete. What if things don't go as planned? Even in the well-regulated employment landscape of the UAE, delays and disputes over final settlements can occasionally arise. Understanding the common reasons for these delays and the legal protections available is crucial for any employee. Delays often occur due to discrepancies in calculating end-of-service benefits, unresolved loans or advances, or sometimes mere administrative backlog. The UAE law mandates that employers must settle all dues within 14 days of an employee's termination. However, if this period lapses without payment, employees have the right to file a complaint with the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization. For employees facing such issues, it's advisable to first approach the employer directly to seek clarification or resolution. If this proves ineffective, the next step is to file a formal complaint through the Ministry's online portal or at one of their service centers. The system is designed to handle such disputes efficiently, ensuring that rights are upheld and dues are paid. It's important to know your rights and the appropriate channels to seek help if needed. Let's quickly recap the important points we've covered about final settlements in the UAE after resigning. Understanding your legal rights as an employee in the UAE is crucial. It ensures you're aware of what to expect and demand when the time comes to part ways with your employer. The UAE labor laws are designed to protect both the employer and employee, aiming to maintain a harmonious professional environment. Regarding the timeline for final payments, the law stipulates that an employer must settle all dues within 14 days of the employment contract's termination. This time frame is critical to plan your next steps, whether it's finding new employment or relocating. We also delved into the specifics of what's included in the final settlement. This isn't limited to just the last paycheck. It encompasses end-of-service benefits, any unpaid wages, overtime, holiday pay, and compensation for unused leave. Understanding each component ensures you are fully compensated as per your entitlement. In instances where there are delays or disputes over the final settlement, knowing the proper channels for resolution is key. This might involve lodging a complaint with the UAE Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization, or seeking legal counsel to advocate on your behalf. Moreover, in accordance with Article 19 of Federal Law No. 6 for 1973 concerning immigration and residence as amended by virtue of Law 7 of 1985, Law 13 of 1996, and Federal Decree Law No. 17 of 2017 provides that the individual has to leave after the revocation of his residency, which reads as, "Foreigners who have obtained residence license shall be subject to the provisions of Article 11 herein. They must leave the country upon the revocation of his residence permit or the expiration of his term." In addition, Article 11 of the Federal Decree Law No. 29 of 2021 regarding entry and residence of aliens provides for the consequences for individuals whose visas or residence permits have been cancelled or have expired without renewal. It states that if someone remains in the country illegally after their visa or residence permit has been cancelled or expired, they will be subject to an administrative fine for each day they continue to reside illegally. Article 11. Cancelling and expiring of visa or residence. Any alien whose visa or residence permit has been cancelled or whose residence has expired with the expiration of the period of the visa or residence permit and does not initiate renewal, in cases in which this is permissible, or if he did not leave the state within the periods determined by the executive regulations of this decree law, an administrative fine shall be imposed on him for each day in which he resides illegally in the state as of the date of the expiry of these periods, and the value of this fine shall be determined by a decision of the Council of Ministers. However, it should be noted that in the UAE, once a residence visa is cancelled, you are still allowed to stay in the UAE until the period mentioned in your visa cancellation document. This document is issued by the General Directorate of Residency and Foreigners Affairs, GDRFA, Dubai or Federal Authority for Identity, Citizenship, Customs and Port Security, ICP, in the UAE residency cancellation document. Based on the aforementioned provisions of law, you may still reside in the UAE upon cancellation of your work permit and UAE residency visa. Make sure to change your residency status within the grace period mentioned in your UAE residency visa cancellation document. Likewise, your employer needs to pay you the salary and end-of-service benefits within 14 days from the date of cancellation of your work permit, as per required by law. In the event that your employer does not pay your end of settlements within 14 days from the date of cancellation of your work permit, you may consider filing a complaint against your employer with MOHAR. Armed with this information, you're better prepared to navigate your resignation and final settlement confidently. Please subscribe for more informative updates. In case any assistance or guidance required, Write to us, contact info in the description. Thank you for joining us.